Laid off? Maybe now's the time to level up. Today, we hear from Dee Henry, who has turned a heartbreaking layoff into a career as an entrepreneur and two-time founder.
The beginning always sucks, but it's not always going to be the beginning. People are going to judge you. It just is what it is. People are going to think that you're cringe. Do it.
Dee Henry is joining us today, and she didn't just bounce back from a layoff, she turned it into a launch pad. Now she's helping others find their voice, set their boundaries, and build and grow their businesses to actually align with who they are. So I am so pumped to have my first ever Instagram friend, Dee Henry, join us today. Hello.
Hi, it's happening.
It's Friday the 13th when we're recording this, and we are able to get in and it's working finally.
Finally.
You taught me about something I didn't even know what it was. The big 3. So let's warm up and let people get to know you a little bit with some fun trivia. So, if your big 3 were musicians, who would they be?
Okay. So I am an Aries sun. I am a Gemini moon, and then I am a Virgo rising. So Aries sun would definitely be Mariah Carey, the most famous Aries of all time, like the perfect diva, the most talented person that's ever walked the earth. And then Gemini moon would definitely be Kendrick Lamar. It has a lot of good qualities aside from the petty part. Like, there's a lot of great stuff about Geminis. They are known to also be geniuses, like, until they get pushed off the deep end. So, another famous Gemini is Kanye West, but I will call my Gemini moon Kendrick, not Kanye.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
then the most famous Virgo of all time for my Virgo rising is Beyonce, aside from Prince, actually. But
It's like a superstar, like supergroup. Imagine all 3 of them on the same stage.
Right? Mariah, Kendrick, and Beyonce.
Get that going.
That's my big 3.
That's awesome. So, I guess we can link below, like, how do you find your big 3? Because I still need to do this exercise with you.
Yeah, you definitely, guys, like, comment down below if you know what your big 3 is, and then actually put what musicians they would be in the comments.
That would be fun. Okay. All right. It's a good dinner conversation too, because some of the people at the table will be like, "What the fuck is that?" And other people will be like, so into it. And you can still be friends with people that you don't have big threes in common with. But hey,
Hopefully they don't judge because they're not just like, "Oh, like, your sun sign is like you're comparing that to Mariah Carey, like, oh, she's a diva prick. Like, that's not what I wanna be with." Oh, okay, So,
I need to understand it and then I can get to the level of judgment. So I wouldn't even know how to judge you yet. But I'm just like excited about
so
it.
that's the good part, that's the good part.
So yeah, leave it below and we will go through and comment back non-judgmentally with spirited fun. All right. So we talked about layoff. Well, we haven't yet. We're going to talk about layoff to layup. What happened before the layoff and then what happened the day of?
Well, for anybody who doesn't know my backstory, I was actually with Zillow for many, many years. And prior to the layoff, I think what made the layoff for me personally so like rough and jarring is because of the fact that I was actually at the top of my game. Like, I was kind of bopping around, like, making my way downtown, like, everything's great, like, I am so happy at work. People otherwise are just, "Oh my god, I gotta clock in today," like, they hated work, and I was the polar opposite. I was so happy at work, and on a random Taco Tuesday, I got a Slack message from my manager sending me the link to a Zoom call. And I was letting him know even though I know that managers can see your calendar in Microsoft Outlook, they can see any meetings that you have. And it was pretty clear that I had a massive block. And it was actually to train a real estate brokerage in New Jersey over Zoom. And he says, I see the meeting. Come to this link instead. And when I say I was completely, I didn't think anything of it. I went, listen, this team in New Jersey, they're a big deal. If we reschedule the call, they're going to be so upset. And he just reassures me in the best way, don't worry about it. Like, I'm the director. Like, I will tell them that I am the reason why you are moving this 2:30 call because I need you on a call. And I went, "Okay, great." Like, I'm not going to get yelled at by the partner. My manager is going to step in. Awesome. I think absolutely nothing of it. I jumped onto that Zoom call at 2:30, all smiles. Again, what other reason would I not be smiling? Like, there's nothing to be nervous about. And I get on and it's just him and HR. And so my eyebrow is raised so high, it's back here in my hairline. Like, what is happening here? I know for a fact that I'm like, I haven't done anything. So, like, this is super, super weird. And the HR person does all the talking, and she lets me know that I am one of 1,000. That's my position has been eliminated as of 5 o'clock today. Not not tomorrow, not Friday.
Yeah.
Because remember, this is Tuesday. My position is eliminated as of 5 o'clock today. So I was like, in 2.5 hours? You mean I don't have a job in what? But things are going so well, and I just accepted a ton of awards, including being inducted into President's Club for Salesperson of the Year. Maybe maybe you guys mix my name up on this Excel spreadsheet. It happens.
Yeah. Why don't you
There
double check that? Go back on in there and double check.
it's only 10,000 employees, so maybe you guys, like, these things happen, right? And it was just like, "No, no, like, there is no mistake. The list is actually alphabetized by first name," if you were wondering. So, no, you are definitely a part of this group, and when you first hear the news, it is that Charlie Brown effect because the HR person is telling you, because we are laying you off, you're eligible for rehire. And we are going to give you a severance and you're going to have Cobra for your health care. And all you hear is wah, 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 wah. Like, and while that is happening, my cell phone is just going off
While you're in the
with,
meeting.
while I was in the meeting, of friends of mine from the Denver office, from the Atlanta office, other New Yorkers, like, just saying, "Girl, I just got laid off. Girl, I just got laid off." Our other friends, like, "Did you hear Tim just got laid off? Chris just got laid off." Like, it was just massive. My phone just was vibrating practically off of my desk in my office. And they ask you, like, "Do you have any questions? Do you have anything to say?" And that is when the Mariah Carey Kendrick part comes in, like the Aries Gemini part. The HR person was so empathetic. Like, her eyes were filled with tears, like a cartoon character, when she was telling everybody that they are getting laid off. And the Mariah and Kendrick and me is just like, "What are you crying for, bitch? You still have a job?" And you're trying so hard to suppress this rage that kind of like hits you like a truck. Cause it's, you just told me in 2.5 hours, I don't have a job. I have meetings on the calendar tomorrow. What do you mean I don't work here anymore?
Yeah. And just because it's 1,000, hey, 1,000 of the 10,000 people are being affected by that, that doesn't seem like it makes it any better.
It, it doesn't.
Gosh. Ugh. All right. So that's you've described some pretty low shit. Day after this happens, how do you get out of bed and what's your mindset?
Transparently, you don't. I got out of bed. I had two cinnamon raisin bagels with strawberry cream cheese and a entire bottle of Moet. That was breakfast.
Okay. Got
That was
after it.
breakfast
Yeah.
with my hair in a top knot. And
Yeah.
that
On a
was
Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
that was Wednesday morning. It was just top knot. And what was super funny is, especially me at that time when it happened, I was a regimented go to the gym 5, sometimes 6 days a week. I actually would go to the gym at 6 a.m. purposely so that I could get a full workout in, come back and be ready and be logged in with a full face of makeup for my first calls at 9 o'clock in the morning on Zoom. And with that being said, I wasn't the person that was eating McDonald's or chips or even bagels, even though Long Island has the best bagels in the universe. Don't argue with me, argue with your mother. Like, I will not play those games. And I, after that layoff news, it was just, wow, I haven't had a bagel in years. You know what? We're about to do two of those and strawberry cream cheese. And why would I wash it down with coffee? What am I doing? Going to work later? Clearly not. Let's open this bottle of Moet.
Makes sense.
Why not? Because I needed to kind of wash away temporarily what was happening. My friends that were still with the company, I woke up to how many missed text messages and like FaceTime calls and just the confusion. I even had brokers that I was working with at Zillow, when they had heard from friends of mine that were still there, they had begged friends of mine for my personal cell phone number. And so they were just like, hey, it's so and so from X real estate. Like, I hope you don't mind that I asked Chelsea for your cell phone number, but like, I need to talk to you. Like, are you okay? Like, what is happening? Like, why is this happening? Especially them knowing my history. And they're like, you're so awesome. Why were you on this list? And I think that is a whole nother part of being laid off, where it puts you into this whole imposter syndrome and this mental health spiral of, well, am I that great? Like, I have all these awards. Maybe I made up how great I am. And everybody who's calling me, asking me why I got laid off, it's like, I don't know. Maybe I've been kind of like hyping myself up too much. And you wind up in an internal battle of, no, these awards are real. These
Mm.
testimonials of people are real and they're tangible. I am as good as I think I am. But you battle constantly with, well, then why did they choose me for this list if I was that?
And does that go away?
It goes away with time and with conscious effort. It is the same way that people talk about manifestation and affirmations. You don't just do the affirmation one time and it's just like bing. That is never how it works. People who do affirmations, people who do EFT tapping are very regimented in how many times they tap a week, how many times they affirm, when they affirm. Is this something I do first thing in the morning in the mirror? Am I a person that does this at night before bed while listening to certain frequencies? They are very solid in how they do that. And I had to apply that same kind of track to getting out of that hole. And that's the first thing that I would say to anyone that is laid off. You're going to feel this horrible attack on your self worth, and you are going to question everything about yourself as a person. And I know a lot of us like to dismiss it like, well, it wasn't your company to begin with. No, it wasn't. But the majority of us, we take pride in having a job and getting up and going to work. It gives you purpose. So when that purpose is randomly stripped out of nowhere, you have to be prepared with the fact that you are going to start to question your purpose, your self-worth. And you have to get yourself on a affirmation like schedule of these are all my past accolades. These are the things I've done. I am this smart. I am a great coder. I am a this. I am a that. And just because I'm no longer at this specific company doesn't mean that I am not this. Like that's not what determines it.
When I'm in a very big rut, it's hard for me to think of the good things and even put those lists of like, "Oh, yeah." I'll black out things that I've done well and just completely forget them. So, I don't know, do you have any tips for pulling out memories of things you've done well or good experiences?
Yeah. Funny enough, when you said the memories part, I think the first thing that popped into my brain is you see how Snapchat and Google would love to, and Facebook loves to slap us with memories that we did not ask for the reminder of. You need to purposely seek those things out. Oh, this is like this is like my photo, the selfie that I took when I was getting on the plane to go to this conference to accept this award. You have to seek those memories out. You have to. This is my keychain from when I was in this other city and I got awarded with this. You have to seek those things out. You need to look back at the testimonials that other people have shared with you, whether they're on your LinkedIn page or whether it's a text message that was just, I would have never gotten X, Y, and Z done if it wasn't for you. You have to seek those things out because you're not going to take it from you telling you that you did great. We, for whatever reason, we as people don't have an issue accepting when someone else tells us that something is great. It's that influencer mindset. That person said it's good, it must be good. You have to apply that with yourself. And the one last thing that I'll say is bed rot. Easier said than done, but don't bed rot ever. I didn't start to see positive change until I started to put on a full face of makeup. And yeah, I don't have a job to go to. I'm putting this on to sit in my house and I'm going to watch Love Island. That's exactly what's going to happen. But if you get up every day and when you don't do your hair and you wait till 2 o'clock in the afternoon to brush your teeth and you don't even put on mascara or any of the things that you would have done if you needed to commute or go to work 9 to 5, you wouldn't have gone without brushing your teeth. You would not have gone without doing your hair. You have to keep your brain on that schedule because when you show your brain, I'm not going to get dressed, your brain goes further into, oh, well, I guess like we're depressed and that's what we're not going to do our hair, we're not going to brush our teeth, like we're going to eat 6 bagels and okay, this
This is
is
my life
what
now.
this is my life now. And the fastest way out of that is to show your brain The layoff happened on paper, but this is not our life now. That's not what we're doing here.
So what was the jumping off point where you said, "Ah, we're gonna start something new"?
I think for me, in that battle of, am I that good? But they laid me off, so I must not be that good. When I was in the midst of that battle, it was when the side of, no, I am that good, and that's not tied to a specific company. When that side won the actual war, it was, how do I reinforce that I am that good? Because if this massive Fortune 500 company wanted to hire me, it must be because I am that good. And if I've won all these awards and all these accolades, it's because I'm doing something right. So if I'm doing something right for them, why can I not do something right for myself? And sales, content strategy, small business ownership, managing all of these things has always been my thing. Like, for the longest time. And that is what made me go, okay, it is time to do something for myself.
And then so this is the sales loft. You wanna tell us about what you built?
With the Sales Loft, it is a sales content and revenue optimization house. What I had noticed going back to Zillow is all of my agents and my brokers, and understandably, real estate is, that's their jam. But they were doing a poor job of marketing themselves and creating marketing that actually generates sales. It was, there was no thought behind it. It was kind of a lot of throwing things up at the wall and hoping that it sticks. And they never actually put themselves in the shoes of their consumer, right? They would hear, oh, there's a brand new app called TikTok. You got to get on it. They would sign up for an account and they're just throwing things out there. There was never a strategy that I saw from them on what would make a buyer not just interested in the home, which is what I'm trying to sell, but what would actually entice that person to follow me on social media? Am I going to educate them? What am I going to give them that's of value? Or am I going to entertain them and be funny? What am I giving to them? And that is actually how the Sales Loft was born. I was having these conversations with realtors and building out captions, emails. A lot of them never sent newsletters. Like, they were focused on mailers, old school, right? If you send a mailer to a 30-year-old, they're literally using it to, like, forgive me, but they're like rolling weed on top of your mailer, sir. Like, you don't need to, this is not what, don't mail things. Like, it's going in the garbage. It's probably not even going to make it inside of their home. No differently if you sent a 30-year-old a coupon book. They're not going to sit there and clip coupons. They have an app for Target, for BJ's, for everything, for Costco. You clip in the app, you scan your phone. That's what they're looking for. And you have to appeal to that.
So I've worked in freight for almost a decade and the mailers work. So it's going to be different based on what your is and who your target audience is. How does a small business who doesn't have a marketing team and maybe has one, two salespeople that just kind of do their own thing, how do they leverage you to put a system behind it and start thinking like a marketer?
What I would be doing on their behalf is building that email newsletter and the workflows for a proper customer journey. But you can even be a solopreneur, but the moment that one person decides to trust you enough to buy your product or to pay for your service, you owe that customer a proper journey and an experience. You do. You want, when they're done entering their credit card information, they should receive a confirmation email, right?
It sounds so simple, but think of how many times it's not happened.
Because a lot of us think that, oh, well, I'm just a solopreneur, or maybe just like you said, I only have two other salespeople. I'm a small business. That stuff is for the big guys. Like when I order candles from, Bath and Body Works, I get a confirmation email. That's the customer journey that you owe them from the first person that transacts. And what it does is it will pay you tenfold if you do that, because the trust is instantly multiplied for you. When you put your customer in a state of concern, like, well, I just bought candles, like, there's no confirmation email. Like, did my card go through? Oh, wait, let me log into my app. Oh, no, that charge went through. Did somebody get my order? What's going to happen? It takes seconds to dismantle that trust, and they will never recommend you to someone. And you're just dead in the water that way. So that is something that I want to encourage solopreneurs and small businesses to keep top of mind. When you're working with the sales loft, these are the kind of things that we build out for you, set it up, and it's on auto,
Yeah.
right? But if you can't invest in help, invest the time. Create your own email workflows and give the customer a proper experience so that they will share that with their friends, with their families. They will put that in Instagram stories. And guess what? You're going to get new customers who want to go through that same wonderful customer experience.
So you started the sales loft with a clear, hey, I've seen this problem. I want to help business owners or business operators solve it. What's it grown into so far?
It actually it has grown into something that I was wonderfully not prepared for. My success, and I will say transparently, I don't want people to think that it's a rags to riches where just you get laid off and 10 minutes later you buy a domain name and then things just start to happen. It was a growth process, and growing hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Growing hurts. But my biggest thing that I would tell anybody is the reason why the sales loft has grown into what it has been today is because of consistency. And I know you guys are so tired of hearing that damn word, but when no one downloaded freebies, when I had 100 views on Instagram, when businesses that I wanted to connect with on LinkedIn denied my connection requests. Who does that? Who does that? When those things happen, I didn't stop posting. I didn't stop creating new freebies and putting it out there. I didn't stop creating reels. I didn't stop sending connection requests. I put my head down, and it went back to that I am that good. And I know what I am creating is going to be useful to someone. It doesn't need to be useful to the how many billions of people. It needs to be useful to one. And I'm going to find that one person that this is helpful for. And just my luck, it was that snowball effect. It probably took a solid 14 months after launch before I started to see any kind of traction. But when it happened, it became the biggest snowball effect. And that snowball would have never happened if I would have been, okay, people are not accepting my connection requests. People are literally not downloading my freebies. People don't watch my videos. I've literally gotten 3 likes on the most educational reel of all time. I'm so mortified. I want to archive it, but here I am making another one.
I mean, I just started the growth department Instagram. I have like 30 followers and I hate it because I've helped other businesses grow their accounts so big and I'm like, "Oh my god, this sucks. The beginning sucks."
The beginning always sucks, and that was the right line. I think that if you keep that in the back of your head, the beginning always sucks, but it's not always going to be the beginning. Like, you're going to be in the middle at some point, and the middle does not suck. You just gotta give it time. It doesn't suck once you get there.
I've seen so many get through the cringe, embrace the cringe. I'm like, "All right, if all of these people are saying it, I should probably believe them. Like just fucking take pictures of yourself and put it on. Like
It
just
is
do it."
it is the truth, and I have put up things, like I said, super educational videos, and I've gotten comments like, "I know she's not out here giving sales advice or business advice, and she can't even fix her bottom crooked teeth." And I'm like, "What does this have to do with KPIs and ROI?" Okay,
Man.
but regardless, and it's on more than one video, but regardless, you keep showing up and you engage with, "You know what? Thank you for that great comment.
Yeah.
Sorry that you feel that way about my teeth," which has nothing to do with the content that's being provided here today, but, yeah.
It sounds like a them problem. Like what's really going on in your life? Oh
And
man.
you'll never know, but you can't stop posting and sharing your stuff. You do have to embrace that cringe and even those comments that stick with you because you'll make content and you'll be worried about, "Are my teeth like maybe I should smile like this, maybe I should do this so that people are not focused on my teeth." Get out of your head and just keep posting it.
Yeah, resilient. So to pull yourself up from, all right, I feel like shit. I have imposter syndrome. And then, no, you know what? I'm fucking great. I'm really great at this and I'm going to start a business. And then keep going through the bullshit of rejection or feeling like shit, rejection, feeling like shit. But people are paying you. People, the whole time, people are paying you for your expertise. And then finally pushing through to where you have a successful business. How have boundaries played a role in this?
Think that I had come to the conclusion that a lot of us have 2 different paths. We either put up a lot of boundaries around ourselves and isolate ourselves in, or we have absolutely no boundaries at all and it's the wild, wild west. Like we and that even comes to being diligent and putting boundaries within ourselves. "I am not going to do this unless I get this done." That sense of discipline. And for myself, who suffers with ADHD, and I'm like, I just got laid off and I'm going to try and open this business. And then maybe I should go back to corporate. But then I'm going to buy the domain name. And then I'm going to do this. And then, you know what? I need to send email newsletters. Let me create 3 drafts of that. Should I apply for this random job on LinkedIn? Like all of these different issues come from a place of a lack of boundary setting and organization. And again, most people like myself with ADHD can't help it. It just is what it is. It's squirrel, this, that. Maybe I should get a bag of chips. Oh my gosh, I should apply for that. Yes. LinkedIn sends you something, someone's viewed your profile. Now you're stalking to see what's happening with that. But then there's now this trending audio on Instagram. I should make a reel out of that. This is how we don't get anything done but get things done at the same time. And it's really inspired me to move further into the tech and software space and build an app that is for my fellow entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and small business owners, and then even content creators that suffer with ADHD. Because if we can streamline our operations, not just from a business perspective, from a cuckoo life perspective, like, yes, you need to get an oil change. And yes, you do need to bookmark that trending audio. This is not the time to stalk that LinkedIn viewed your profile, somebody on LinkedIn viewed your profile person. We will actually be great in terms of generating revenue for ourselves. I've seen so many creators, they're not running what they're doing as a business. And that is another reason why a lot of them, unfortunately, wind up in tax hell. And
Mm,
I think that the ability to streamline, okay, I am going to pitch the following 35 brands for a freight business. You guys are marking these as leads. Why isn't a content creator marking these PR emails that they've submitted videos for as leads as well? Why are they not using a CRM? Why are they not keeping contact or track of the last time that they heard from that brand? Did that brand respond? What's my follow-up workflow? They sent me this as a proposal. Am I going to counter it? They're not marking things as opportunity won, opportunity lost, or as a nurture lead. And that's because, again, with the ADHD, we are just going like this. When you're running the business itself, just like we spoke about before, you're so busy trying to put out sales, you're not thinking about the newsletter that you absolutely need to be creating. And it can't be once a month or once every 6 months that you send out an email. It's too much going on. I need
mhm.
to order supplies. I need to respond to this person. Oh, I also have a doctor's appointment. It's too much. And so that is where boundaries as an app has been born from.
So you have a new app. Just want to make sure everyone didn't miss that. You have a new app that you created that stemmed from your personal experience and when you're working with all of these folks and getting yourself through it. Tell us about boundaries.
Boundaries is going to, as the tagline, make overwhelm optional
Mm,
because we don't have to be as overwhelmed as we are. And suffering with ADHD, I think a lot of us have just accepted or believed that living in overwhelm is just how it has to be. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can have something that will organize these contacts for you, help you with your actual emails, prompt you also with even reminders to say, like, hey, you pitched this brand 2 weeks ago. Did they follow up with you? Mark it in the app, yes or no, so that it triggers a workflow for you of if you marked it as no, now we're going to put in a workflow for you, easy steps of what you need to do next until we close that opportunity out, right? Integrating with your calendar so that you can have real life be a part of this. If
mm.
we see that your calendar is blocked from 3 to 5 o'clock because you're at a doctor's appointment, making the recommendation to you to a prompt of this would be a good 15-minute block for you to blitz responding to comments that you're getting from your subscribers,
Mm.
which you need to do. So it's how do we get you to do these things? And it's because we need a bit of handholding.
If you're a business owner or an operator and you don't have a team that does all of these different things, learning the skills to do everything you just mentioned is a lot. I know because I've just spent the last decade doing it, and I've worked 14, 15-hour days trying to learn it and run my day job. So, if there's a tool out there that makes it more plug and play, where it's just like, "Hey, here's how you do an email newsletter, and by the way, we recommend you should do it this often. And by the way, here's the list of contacts you already have." Like, brilliant. Save the time and get the app.
I think that's the thing. We all have to lean on the tech. There's all these businesses before us that they didn't have the advantages of this. And now that we're in a position to help ourselves be more efficient, people with ADHD, we forget a ton of things because, again, we get so easily distracted. If we could have help from tech to kind of keep us on the straight and narrow, why not?
Yeah. And
Why not?
you don't need like 7,000 apps either. You can get it done with a few key ones.
And that's the thing because having all of these different apps, it contributes to that overwhelm. It does. Okay, am I going to send my email newsletters from my Gmail? Oh, well, no, maybe I need to have a professional email address. So now I'm looking at MailChimp versus Flowdesk versus Kit versus this versus that. And you wind up going down these rabbit holes for so long that you never completed the objective, which was to send the newsletter to your customers, because that action is what actually generates sales and puts money in your pocket.
I feel like I know we're coming up on this episode's time, but there's so many nuggets that you've dropped in here that I feel like we need to go into detail on just like how do you start a newsletter list? How do you there are so many things in here that people need to know, but we just kind of glossed over in this high level interview. So I'm inviting you formally to come back on the show.
That's all I needed to hear. I'm welcome back. That's all I needed to hear.
Also, are you a hat girly?
Yes, I am.
Okay, because I just got these in
Big
the
time.
mail, and I think that we could wear matching hats.
I am all the way here for it. I am all the way here for it.
All right, so we'll have hats. We'll have another session, but before we go, what's I'm going to ask you for to wrap up one piece of advice for folks, and then I'm going to hit you with fucking. It's Friday. I swear a lot in the afternoons on Fridays. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm going to hit you with some rapid fire questions after this. But to wrap it up, if there's one thing folks could take away from this session, what would you hope that they take away?
I said it before, I'll say it again. You'll see it on my Instagram, you'll see it on any platform. For me, the biggest advice is do it anyway. Do it. Done is truly better than perfect. You can tweak along the way. People are going to judge you. It just is what it is. People are going to think that you're cringe. Do it. Stop sweating over, well, what's the best platform to use to send an email? Send the email. You know, maybe I should wait until if you have the money in your account, buy it. Do it. Do it. Because if you do not take the steps to actually do it, it is true. It never, ever, ever gets done. It never gets done. And I've always, funny enough, had the most success when I least expected it from just doing it and doing it unperfect. I got monetized on TikTok like the other day. And that post wasn't one of those where I've agonized and I did this Canva carousel with all the graphics and everything. You want to know what I was doing when I was making that post? I was sitting on the couch watching The Last of Us on HBO. That is what I was doing.
All right. And it
And
blew up. You got a little bit viral there.
in between zombies running after people and me like being like, okay, I can't look at this part, is when I just threw together that post, threw together those hashtags. I was watching The Last of Us on HBO with zombies screaming in the background, posted it, and it's already now at 32,000 views. Like, and it got me from 121 followers to 1,200 in 3 days. And look at me doing something anyway, completely imperfect, just doing it. So do it anyway. Just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
I mean, if you guys weren't the folks listening and watching, you weren't here at the beginning before we could figure it out. Like I had the volume all the way off and I was like, I can't hear you like a 95-year-old. She couldn't figure out the camera. We couldn't figure like my lighting's off, my camera's not working, like, and we still just fucking did it. So just do
We
it.
did it.
Here we go. All right, I'm gonna hit you with a few rapid fire questions because let's have a little fun. It's Friday. Astrology sign you most identify with?
Is it my own?
Yes.
Sagittarius. Sagittarius and Leos, my two fellow fire signs. It's a very unspoken thing. So they are my ride or dies.
All right. All right. What's the worst advice someone gave you after the layoff?
To come back to the company,
Oh,
to
okay.
come back
That
to
counts.
Zillow. And all I will say about that is when you accept or you show people that you're willing to accept less than you deserve, that is when people will take advantage of you. Because no shade, other people who they went back after a month because corporate reposted those positions. When corporate reposted those positions online, they reposted them for less pay than you were already earning. So that was by far the worst advice that I can think of I've received in the last 10 years. Why would I go back to working for the same place for less than what I'm valued at to help a Fortune 500 company save money?
Boundaries.
Boundary.
If you could do a dream collab with a person or a brand, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, this is really hard too. With a person or a brand? I think this might sound a little bit cheesy, but I would still want to spend 5 minutes in a room with Gary Vee and ask him 700 questions. I would. Um, any kind of collab, the way that that would elevate my brand.
Okay. Well, hopefully that'll happen. All right. Finish this sentence. Growth happens
You when you jump, when you jump.
love it. You said growth is uncomfortable earlier and painful. I feel
It
that.
it is, but like if you stay on the sidewalk and you don't jump off, it's the truth. Like, and I've seen it not just for the sales loft, I've seen it for almost every business. Everybody who is not willing to jump, you stay in the same place, and eventually the world is going to continue to turn and evolve without you. So you will wind up getting phased out because you won't jump.
Take a leap. Any final ta-ta you want to give the crew?
This was absolutely wonderful. I was super excited and honored to have been the first guest. But it's the truth. Growth happens when you jump, and that's what this entire growth department is about. Nobody said that it's called growing pains for a reason. So the sooner that you accept that, and maybe that's just very Aries of me because we're very much like, just rip the band-aid off. Like that's
Mhm.
us. Once you accept that part, it works out in your favor. The whole universe actually comes together to work for your good once you accept that.
Love it. All right. I'm going into the weekend pretty jazzed up. I appreciate you coming on and we just fucking did it. We did it. It's Friday the 13th. We made it happen. And I can't wait to chat with you again soon.
I'm so excited. Have a good one, you guys.